That was like over a week ago. This is not an argument. Just answer. Do you have groceries in your fridge or not? Don't evade the question. Do you have it or not? Because saying that there was a long time ago does not mean that you have them now. By any means. You made goatee lasagna after that. Oh yeah, you did. Okay, yes. Okay, my bad. To be fair, okay, my bad. Yes, you're right. You did do it. Dude, the last bear's corn is the only body armor that drops from this fucking prophecy. Holy shit, that's stupid game. Come on. So I was hoping to make a comfortable build with the mage, because I'm not going to criticize their game design. That's not what this is, but I really didn't like the fact that creating a mage makes me have mana problems all the time. Even if I invested all of my possibilities in mana from the passive trees and specializations and all. So I got kind of pissed about that, and I almost quit the mage, was going to go another class. But then I realized, okay, I can try to make this work, and I made like several attempts throughout the last days, and I found a build that pleases me, that is pretty decent, at least the level that I am right now, 74, and it tends to get more powerful, obviously. But yeah, that's the build. The base of the build is using volcanic using volcanic orb, because I loved this skill. To be fair, I preferred meteor, but to make meteor happen in a pleasant and decent way just doesn't fit together with the mana comfortable playstyle. And so, even though it was pleasant to see, to play, to see the damage go out and to see things get out and meteor that comes from above, it was painful to try to make it work with mana, with like mana sustain. At least for the items that I have now too, there's that too. But I could make it work with volcanic orb, so I go for Volcanic Orb. I go fully on damage and damage on the core. I even pay this one here. It doesn't really matter that much because it increases, yeah, the mana cost, but not so much. And I put the cooldown recovery 300%, so it's my main skill, my right click main skill. And I invested a little bit in mana here. As you can see, I'm level 20 now. I put even orb damage and shrapnel damage here. I was investing in this one here before, but the shrapnel is enough to kill like trash, and whatever you aim is going to die, clearly. I use teleport to move, of course, but I use it to actually do this effect here. After casting teleport, your next direct spell cast refunds its mana cost, but teleport has a longer cooldown. So I invest in cooldown reduction from here, right? Some quality of life. And I invest in cooldown recovery speed, and even other skills cooldowns, like what I want for the focus here, and obviously the volcanic orb as well. So the core is moving with teleport and nullifying a spell cost once, right? And of course, it diminishes its own cooldown, and it gets very decent. So it makes for a very good mana sustain build as you move and zoom through maps. Flame Ward is just, I thought, necessary because I play hardcore, and also even if you don't play hardcore, it doesn't matter, it's very useful for many things. So I went for the 2 charges. I went for more ward, no retaliation, because I'm not going to be playing. It's kind of detrimental to play like a knight, right? The sentinel, or that waits to be hit to retaliate, or the mage, for example, because you slow down your clear speed time, and it's very detrimental for bosses. So it's better to just be offensive and defensive in a separate way. I don't believe in retaliation in RPGs, even though it's fun to invest in it in the beginning of the game, so that you like you see like less powerful monsters like die when they are hitting you. It's still kinda eh. So I went for the full ward production, and then this is kind of a protection for stun when I'm not prepared and actively using it. And then I went, of course, for mana regen, because this build is all about sustaining mana as well, as I get comfortable playing around and being safe. And then together with this, I went for focus up to here. So here is detrimental for me, in my opinion, because you gain cooldown only for ward. But my objective is gaining mana. And if I'm going to be using and sustaining mana like frequently, and I don't really care about using focus frequently, because this slows you down, and it's one of the reasons that I was getting pissed, because instead of like having to possibly choose a passive, you have to choose an active, and the only spells that don't cost mana are focus and some very basic spells like fireball that do like 0 damage and can do some utility, but come on, man. So focus is the thing. When I focus, I gain some haste, as much like mana I recover per 20 mana in seconds, so that's pretty good. And I normally only use focus when I get negative mana, which you can get here from the null perfusion, and it just recovers so much mana. And yeah, so I paid a little bit of quality of life here as well, the mana retention, and of course mana regen, like that's, I mean, this mana burst, like it's flat, and this regen, so that's what we want this for the occasional use and the mana regen, that's it. And of course we're going to get haste, a little bit of ward, but that just comes with it. And by last, Arcane Ascendance. You have to take care, because if you use teleport and you just got the spell cost refund after teleporting, and you decide to teleport and use Arcane Ascendance, it costs 1 mana. So you're going to refund 1 mana, so don't do it. What you should do for a burst, for rares or bosses, is that you teleport to get the free use 1 Volcanic Orb, and then you activate Arcane Ascendance and just burn your mana, right? So I went with this node here, Acuity, because no longer drains mana, and you have the cooldown here, and it makes it for 4 spells. And since I'm like really mostly burning mana, when I use this, it automatically disables itself when you get to negative mana, which normally happens in 4 spells or less. And also, you have to remember that this here can stick you to the floor if you don't, like if you didn't burn all your mana, you don't have spells to use, there's like a cooldown, in my case here for example, volcanic orb. So just press the button again and then you're unstuck. Remember this, it gets green and then when you press again it gets blue again, ready to use or ready to cool down. And then I went for the mana regen, mana on killing distant enemies of course. I am getting some spell damage here because I only have one more point. I'm going to invest a little more in spell damage. And I invest here in ward, gain on start, because normally what I want is that I want to be close to a group, a pack, or a rare, or a boss, and then I use my flame ward. So I TP, right? I TP, use volcanic orb for free. Then I flame ward, then I use the Arcana Sentence, because if you don't want flame ward to be one of the spells, one of the 4 spells affected here. So after you flame ward, then you use the Arcana Sentence, and then you can now spam volcanic orb with the bonus spell damage, and so much spell damage that normally things will die, and then you're going to get probably on negative if you're doing like things fast, kind of the way that I'm doing. Then you're ready to use focus from negative and recovering like not only from negative but to around 60% of your mana pool, which mine is kind of low right now because I also tested another style of play, another play style using, I'm not going to find now, using some items that were giving me a lot of mana, and I was gonna go for the meteor that always crits when you are above 400 mana, and that was decent, and I was like with 700 mana or something here, and I was going to also choose the focus here to get overcharged so that I can get 50%, that diminishes at 10%, 10 per second. I would probably go for something around 1000 mana, and I would also always be above 400 mana for the crit of the meteor, but I decided just to instead stay with a decent ones that I found, and decent offhand as well, and decent belts, all of them giving, instead of just mana, the fire damage. Even though our passive as sorcerer gives spell deal increased damage equal to their mana cost, I still prefer the way I chose. So my choices, they are partially because I'm hardcore player, partially because I like to have like the damage. I went for Arcanist, Scholar, Reactive Ward, and Warden. And the Sorcerer, I went full on the Calculated Destruction, Mana Shell, Wisdom, Afterglow. I'm finishing Pyromancer with the Lava Monster here. Arcane Sight here, which I have to continue this one here, but then we need more points. Full on Spells Linger and Elemental Sentence. You should start with the old mana, right? 1, 2, 3. These are very essential. And then you go for other things, and then you, of course, you can, I don't know, manipulate the build and the trees the way that you prefer. I might even go back here for some reasons, but I'll try to put an update when I get to level 100, and I hope that I get to level 100 because my only fun is had when I play hardcore. And yeah, I explained this here a lot. It's the relationship that I created with these games. And yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this guide for a comfortable way of playing a mage using mana and having a little bit of ward and like very decently defensive. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you can find more of my guides useful. Please subscribe to help me get to 500 subscribers so that I can get monetized on YouTube. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.